All right, audience, it's me. I can almost keep saying the farm engineer. This is Mender speaking. Hi, this is Alex. All right. And in the time of greatest need, when all of our professional influencers have become stupid, I've decided to make a video. All right. This video is going to be on the absolute stupidity of these Twitter famous ex-influencer people, right? Here's my rule of thumb, is if they are only popular on X, then they're not really popular, right? X is such a bizarre ecosystem where the monetization is so effed that you get bad behavior and very little good behavior. People are incentivized to speak out very quickly before any facts are out because they need to be the first one to say something, right? They have to be the first one because the Pareto distribution is about who shoots first and is like decently dressed up, gets the audience, the lion's share. So they're incentivized to just jump the gun all the time. And right now, in an age where stuff is actually happening, they are struggling to be the one to break the story without also breaking their reputation, okay? They're destroying their reputations. And what I'm talking about right now is that these Epstein stuff is an extinction level event, I think, for a lot of people. Like I saw Alex Jones post that the attempted assassination of Trump at Butler was a crisis actor. Like he just put crisis actor in a picture of Trump putting his fist up. He had to delete that tweet, or he did delete that tweet. He probably realized that was beyond the pale, but it tells me where his mindset is, right? And there's a lot of people out there who have built their career around the Epstein list, right? Which we actually know very few facts about. We have tons and tons and tons of speculation, right? But if I go through and say, like, who are the specifics and what proof do we actually have? It's very little. All of this is held by some mysterious file that we assume is at the FBI, a file which may or may not have been destroyed because handing the Trump administration the file that has everything in it would actually be kind of silly, and it's really easy to destroy records that aren't widely distributed, right? It's really easy to destroy records. So let's move beyond all that. This magical file, which in our minds has its own narrative, which may or may not exist, which may or may not actually be a file, which may or may not actually be a list, but we do know something was up, right? Now, conspiracy theories are just the truth 6 months from now, or 6 months early, right? They're just spoilers for the reality. Or so it has been for most of the time. You can't always assume that's the case. Because if you start believing the town crackpot because for 8 years straight he was right, well, what happens on year 9 when he's not right, okay? And that's what these influencers are now coming up against. Because the Iran war, you know, the supposed World War III, Timu World War III, that was a big egg on a lot of people's face. You have guys like Tucker Carlson going on and giving softball interviews with America's enemies. You have every other insipid, typically female, sorry ladies, influencer out here running like ambulance chasers after a story. And now you get to the point where they think that Ghislane Maxwell is going to be the great bringer of truth. Here's the list. So here's what's happening. People will believe what they want to believe most of the time, right? It's called bias, all right? They're going to see what they want to see. If a woman wants a tall, blonde man, the first tall blonde man who gives her any sort of attention, like if she doesn't see a lot of tall blonde men, the first tall blonde man who gives her a bit of attention, she's going to just love, and she's going to lie to herself about all of his faults because that's what she wants or what she's gassed herself up to want, right? And we've gassed ourselves up to want a list. And now here comes a very convenient child sex trafficker who is saying, I have the list. You have two FBI, the director and a co-director or whatever, I forget, deputy director, saying there is no list. And you see the influencers are believing uncritically the child sex trafficker who is politically aligned against them, who wants to give a testimony at the most convenient time to create division in America and especially in MAGA. So the timing is convenient for Ghislane Maxwell. Second off, the fact that she has a list, that's also kind of convenient. I can't remember, like the sex trafficking rings were 20 years ago, right? Is she going to remember all the names? She's going to remember some names, I'm sure, right? Are these people even prosecutable? Did it happen overseas? I don't know. Like what is this list? The thing is, what gets me is this list could be entirely lies, right? Like we are going into a scenario where all of these influencers who, I believe these influencers have been going broke, right? You see this with the quartering, you see this with Tim Pool. A lot of popularity has been lost because the election was over. It's been over for like months and months and months. And the cash flow just isn't there anymore and people are burned out. And the content where you sit and read an article and then commentate on it is tired and boring. I was bored of it 3 years ago. People are finally bored of it. I think Vince Dow does a good job, but he's probably the only news guy that I watch regularly. These influencers are starved for money, which is why I think foreigners, like foreign operators, are able to buy them off so easily. Like, these guys are bottom of the barrel in terms of buying. Like, it could be, what was it? Someone got Lara Loomer to eat dog food for $100. I think that was the Derek guy, whatever. Which normally that guy's kind of a loser. Look it up, by the way. Look that up. It's a real thing. She was given a sponsorship for dog treats or something like that, and she ate one. I guess it was on the ad sheet that she should do it, and she did it. Like, this is. We don't have an influencer class. We have like a prostitute with a microphone class, okay, that just tells you the sweet little lies that you want to hear. And the sweet little lie today is that Ghislane Maxwell, the child sex trafficker, is going to be the bringer of truth rather than muddying the waters. Like, she could go up there and say any name she wants. She could be as dishonest as she wants to be. She sees that there's an angry mob, at least of influencers, and a lot of people pretending to be Americans who are actually from Pakistan or some other country, right? She sees this, and she's like, "Oh, I'm going to make this into a circus. I'm going to set the tent on fire is what I'm going to do." Is probably what she's thinking, because the timing is extremely suspicious. Again, because people want to believe something, they're willing to just go and believe it. This is another influencer trap, right? You're going to see reputations burn on this one. And I just felt like I should stop in. I have a 0 agreeability score on my personality, which means if you put me in a room with 1,000 people, I'm going to be the most disagreeable of them. I'm willing to look at 1,000 people in the eye and say, no, you're wrong and I'm right. Now, if you're an idiot, well, that just makes you a jerk, right? But if you're fairly smart, that means you might actually save everybody, right? I'm the one who's in the ash conformity experiment would not fall for it. I'm the guy who would not fall for like the smoke in the room experiment where they make the test subjects think that the room is burning down. But since all the actors are just standing still and saying, no, it's fine, the actual test subject will continue to sit down despite the fact that the place is on freaking fire. Anyways, I'm going to be the one that gets out of the room. Everyone else is wrong. Like, all these influencers are absolutely wrong. And the problem is these influencers is they will do whatever their audience thinks or whatever they think their audience wants. So you'll see this ridiculous behavior and this absolute unhinged opinions because the army of bots has gassed them up to believe the audience wants this, that, or the other thing, right? I don't even know how much the average voter cares about Epstein. Trump's approval is pretty good. There are some polls that are total BS. I saw one poll that says he's up in New England, but he's down in the South. I was like, that's not true. Like, Trump's not going to be more popular in New York than he is in like Alabama. Anyways, a lot of bull crap is going around out there and people are getting swept up in it. I thought I'd do you guys a bit of a service and just throw some what ifs in there. Whenever something is coming along that you're like, oh my God, this is what I've always been wanting. This is what I've been needing. Question that. That's very convenient, right? When someone comes and has exactly what you want, you should be asking them, okay, what are they getting in return? You should be suspicious. All right. And I think, and that's what the core of critical thinking is, a certain level of suspicion. That's why high trust societies are actually like crumbling right now, because high trust societies are not very good at critical thinking, okay, in my opinion, because you need to be more suspicious, all right? And right now, everyone's very suspicious. I'm just asking you to be suspicious of the influencers. Like, you should be looking at them very much askance right now. I am not paid to do this. I could not care less if you agree with me or not. I don't really check my view counts, and I'm just sort of here to have fun, and because I'm on a farm in the middle of nowhere, and I need some catharsis because I'm reading stuff that's just so stupid, I have to say something. If you agree, that's great. If you disagree, pop in the comments. I don't mind. I do change my mind. As I said in a live stream the other day, I changed my mind about the H-1B visa. As soon as I grow the cojones to actually put my thoughts onto paper and discuss this, I'll tell you why I changed my mind. And maybe I'll just do that one off the cuff. Stuff that's inflammatory, I try to script out, right? This one I thought I'd just go off the cuff because I don't think it's that inflammatory to say like, yeah, this Ghislane Maxwell lady probably doesn't have her best interest at heart. That's pretty much what I'm saying. Also, the fact that she wants to do this testimony publicly and not to the FBI so the FBI can then vet it means that she wants to reach the public first before it has a chance to even get checked out. That is really suspicious. Like, if someone has been convicted of sexual assault, right? if someone has been convicted of, or it's not convicted, I'm sorry, if someone's being accused by an accuser of a crime of that nature, the police aren't just going to release the name. Like, the public isn't just going to know the name of who she accused, like, unless she goes straight to the public, right? They do some due diligence. They actually check around to see if, does he have an alibi? Does the DNA match? All that stuff. They do some investigating, right? But she wants to go straight to the public. No investigation into her list of names. That's extremely suspicious. You should think, why is she doing that? Why is she doing it now, and why is she doing it this way? Okay? Thanks for making it through the video. Appreciate it. Sorry I rambled a little bit, but thanks for your time. Like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more of my face. Appreciate you. Have a good one. Bless.